Hello, everybody. It is your ever loving Uncle Fish back again for the Five-Star Feed. I am leading the show once again because the Tony Clapper, aka the Chat 'em Up champion, the clapback kid, Tony Deadass Clapper, whatever alias you may know him by, the heathen is out getting another tattoo. So he ain't here to host the show today. So your Uncle Fish gets the reins. I get to have fun. Fee hasn't made it in yet. She's logging in. Ryan is on his way from a meeting, so they should be here soon. But in the meantime, coming in clutch, doing all the hard work, the behind the scenes stuff that never gets the credit. I got my boy Ben Lacey here with me to hang out,
Hello. How you doing,
talk
Fish?
about making comics. Man, tell everybody about yourself a little bit as if they don't already know who you are. Tell them about yourself, your books, and what you got going on right now.
My name is Ben Lacey, and I am the creator, publisher, and sometimes artist of different comic books, including Shark of War, The Vicious Vixens of Dakawanga, The Cthulhu Man, and right now, on its last day of on Kickstarter, Samson. The first three issues out of which are available now. This is for the funding of the third issue. The issue, though, is already complete and will be in your hands not long after the credit cards clear, or at least the digital version will. Um,
See, that's the way I like to do it. That's the smart way to do it. Have the book done as little potential problems between you and a cleanly fulfilled and shipped out
yeah,
campaign. That's a smart way to
I,
do it.
I did that. I used to do that when I was doing all the art, and then I stopped. And then for last issue, Vicious Vixens, I did the same. And I thought it was very nice having the book in Pete Backer's hands like a month afterwards. Even the hard copies
Mhm.
I got out within about a month, because the only thing that's left to do is draw in a few backers, and we've already got them kind of sketched in already.
Oh, I love a good be drawn in the book tier. That is a lot of fun. I have you had somebody come in and want to have more than one character be drawn in the book? Because I wasn't expecting that.
I have had a I have a young lady who's been in several of my books. Um, she likes to be killed in the books, and she very much wanted to be killed in the books, and she even brought in one of her friends for an appearance as well. So she's backed me regularly at a fairly high tier, and so much so that in Shark of War, I basically came up with the idea of I created a character, a lab assistant for the main villain, and because she wanted to be killed in the books, I was like, well, when she gets killed, my evil mad scientist lab assistant isn't going to go out and look for a new, my evil mad scientist is going to look for a new lab assistant on LinkedIn. She's going to clone the old lab assistant, put her back in the lineup, and so I can have her get killed again. And in fact, a running gag in the last issue is she dies like 3 or 4 times, and almost like a Kenny in South Park. So that
Oh,
so she's part of the her character's actually moved up to being a semi-integral part of the book, and I think it works in really well with Shark of War, because it is about mad scientists, cyborg sharks. Gigantic walking whales.
hmm.
Every a lot of the comic book eight all movies from the 50s, comic book tropes, things like that. Samson is more serious, and she actually appears here too, but it's in a she's not getting killed, and I won't draw anyone in as a Nazi because that would be the obvious way to draw in a character who gets killed as a
Yeah.
Nazi, but I won't make a backer a Nazi. So I also haven't made them, a victim of the Holocaust too, because I want those characters to look the way they should, and not be backers. So the backers in Samson have been more like the prosecuting attorney who's prosecuting one of the Nazi war criminals, the judge at the trial of one of these war criminals, the scientist who's helping contain the Nazi war criminal, superpowered war criminal, who's developed like a containment vessel for him. So those are the kind of the backer and the book tiers we have. The French resistance person who helps out the kids is when they're young and they're in during World War II and they're fighting in World War II. Um, so yeah, so those are the kind of tiers that are available for that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I kind of had the same problem with Green Zone at first. At first I did it as like random rewards or like for the first backers or stuff like that you would get drawn in the book or like
Mhm.
randomly pick a backer to try and encourage people to start backing on those last few days or the dead period or whatever in the middle. And um, so I'd randomly get people, and then they'd be like, you know what? I don't want to be in the book after all. Can you fit my character in there?" It's like, well, it's got to be a character that can fit in either
Right.
as like a mutant or as a human, because like there's not, especially in issue one, there weren't a
Mhm.
lot of people in super suits or anything, and so it was a little bit trickier. And then people don't want to be the bad humans yelling at the genomes and saying that you're terrible and you're monsters and go home.
Yeah.
And so it was a little bit trickier to fit in. I guest appear in almost every book I work in
Oh.
because I'm always having to fill it in with like background characters and stuff. I get
Mhm.
tired of drawing just generic Loomis heads all the time. So I'll stick me and my friends and family and other
Right.
creators I know and stuff in the background
Well, if I
sometimes.
was drawing myself, doing the art, I'd probably do stuff like that. One of the first person who ever appeared in my book who backed to be a character was my sister, and she basically, I had to replace a male character I'd already put in to put her in there, in the book, and so that was kind of fun, and that's happened a few times. We've drawn these mobsters who are or men, and we kind of sketched them in, didn't draw in their faces, and then we get these women backers and we're like, oh, well, I guess they need to adjust the scene, so we have these female mobsters who are
See,
who are
I've
who
learned
are
my lesson.
who are the person the person who's there,
I've learned my lesson to like draw the whole background in behind those characters and draw like the stand-in rough figures as like I just do like generic yellow blob people. Like they're
Yeah.
shaped like a person, but they're on a whole separate layer because
Right.
I don't know if your character is going to be skinny like Spider-Man or be a woman or be big like the Hulk. So I try and make them I fill in the whole background. And like in the last Sentinels that I did, we had a bunch of backers in as bad guys. And like I've got one character in there that's Hulk size, one character that's Spider-Man size, backed right up to each other. And I was really
Mhm.
glad I had all that extra stuff drawn in to fill in all this extra space where I thought a character was going to fill it, but it was a tiny guy instead.
Right.
Um, but you live and you learn and you grow and you get better and all that. I'm excited for it. You hit goal.
Mhm.
Uh, it's lean times these days, so we haven't, passed goal by a long way. So if you guys are
Yeah.
watching, now's the time to jump in. There's 26 hours left. I was late to the party. I thought I had backed it earlier and missed it, so I had to jump in yesterday. I think
I
maybe.
appreciate that.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it's obviously, the goal is less than really, the real cost of the book, as you probably know. That's just the
Yeah.
way it is. And there's always some backers who wind up, not clearing at the very end. So
Hmm.
that's another thing. So yeah, we definitely need more backers, or it'd be very nice to get more backers. Last time we had 170. I'm hoping we can close strong and get close to that again. Um, One thing I'd like to all your listeners to know is if you just scroll down a teeny little bit there, you'll see a link right there or here. And if you click on that link, it will open up a Google Doc where you can read the first issue of Samson, for free.
That's awesome.
All not only the book, but all the digital bonuses, including stories on the features on the true life inspirations for this book. Some of the villains in the book are based on real Nazis, um, and some of the things that happen are based on things that actually happened in history, like hunting Nazi war criminals, the experimentation of people in the concentration camps by the Nazis.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, this is a superhero comic book. The people in the book are getting superpowers rather than dying, which is of course what happened to most of them who were experimented on. And then they are going off and using those powers. And in this issue, we finally get a lot of World War II action as young Samuel gets to join up with the resistance and start fighting in World War II for real after escaping Auschwitz in issue 2. And then in the post-Cold War era, the adult Samson has discovered that some of the Nazi super soldiers from World War II may still be alive, and he has to hunt them down. And now he's discovered a conspiracy to try and create more of them by the New Reich, who are attacking him in this issue with their own super villains.
Yeah, Eddie's right. Letting us read the whole first issue for free is a great way to promote the Kickstarter.
Yeah, I'm hoping that anybody who reads it will want to back it, and if they don't want to back it, that's fine. It's no loss.
That's the thing. If they're not the audience, then you found out for $0.
Yeah,
and that's fine and dandy.
I always give away a lot in my after when I go on to issue 2 of any of my Kickstarters, I always give away issue 1 for free. And if you just sign up for my newsletter, I give you 4 free comic books. Shark of War, Fish the Fixins, and Samson, plus my How to Avoid a Shark Attack guide, comic book, humorous How to Avoid a Shark Attack guide with real shark attack avoidance guidance from the University of Florida.
Living in Arkansas has been a real great boon to my not getting bit by sharks. That's helped me a good bit. Fee, what is your number 1 tip for not getting bit by sharks? Living in Ohio?
No. That I don't know. I never thought about sharks and never thought I had to worry about them. So that's a question that really caught me off guard. So
don't wear gold jewelry in the water. There's a quick one for you.
Okay, I was like, okay. A lot of jewelry. I know their vision is really bad.
Silver, gold, they think you're a fish because it's like your scale.
Glitters.
Yeah,
like scale. That's one thing that will confuse them. So you don't want. They aren't looking to attack people. They're looking to attack.
Paddling on a surfboard is another one. Like you really straight up look like a seal. If you're paddling on a,
I'm with Eddie on that one. I just stay out of oceans.
Well, yeah. I had so many people come up to me at cons when I'd show Shark of War and say, "Oh, I haven't gotten the ocean since I saw Jaws in 1974." I'm like, that's a long time to be scared of a shark when your reality is you're more likely to get killed by your dog than by a shark. So,
Though the oceans aren't the only place, because like we've got like a small cluster of attacks like off the Mississippi or whatever from like bull sharks that swim.
Yeah, those aren't great whites. Yeah,
they're not great whites, but they are sharks.
The bull shark can swim in brackish waters. They think that might have been the real shark that inspired the Jaws.
I think I was more surprised about the shark question because I was like, you were talking about the Kickstarter, which was totally not shark related.
Well, we've kind of been bouncing back and forth.
Yeah, because Ben's
like, am I crazy?
We are promoting Samson here, but all my back issues of Shark of War are available either in tiers or as add-ons, along with the Vicious Vixens, the Cthulhu Man. So
I was like so concerned. Like, what did I miss here to go from like?
That's what you get for not being here early,
Yeah.
I was sitting here for like whole 10 minutes. My laptop, like I have my 2 screens, they went dark. So I'm on the first one. So I was waiting. And for some reason, the connection, it just was like, here, we're just going to take our time. And I just said, okay.
Samson is about 2 young boys who were taken to Auschwitz as children. Their parents have been eliminated. And since they're twins, the Nazis decide to experiment on them. This is real. The Nazis at Auschwitz experimented on twins.
Yeah.
What's not real, of course, is what happens next. You
Right.
know, is that the experiment, you know, they're trying to prototype a Nazi super soldier by doing these experiments. Instead, they succeed beyond expectations, and the kids gain powers and are able to escape. And that's where we are in issue 3.
Where you pick up,
Yeah. At the same time, it's a story also covers about 50 years in the post-Cold War era after the fall of the Berlin Wall. There's new evidence being released, also something that really happened because of new documents that came out, that's telling Samson, the adult Samson, that there may be Nazi super soldiers who are still out there. And he's gone to track one down, and he's captured one, and he brings it back to Israel for trial.
Gotcha.
And so a lot of what will happen there, also based on some of the real stories, like the trial of Eichmann and the trial of Ivan the Butcher, or John Dimjanik, are also based on real stories. And there are bonus features in the back of the book that tell you that.
Got you. That makes sense. Now I was like the bounce back. I got that part because I did come in during that understanding of it, but it was just that the question it just totally because I was just not.
Well, it seemed like a good non sequitur to bring in. Ryan, how are you doing, man? It's good to see you.
I'm extremely tired. It's been a long day.
I can't believe it.
And still recovering from DreamCon.
Oh man, how was DreamCon, man?
It was incredible. It was fantastic.
That's awesome. I'm glad. I was a little worried, man, because I've seen some folks showing pictures of like bare landscapes with outside their table at like fan expos and stuff, and I'm like, man,
oh no! This show was
fan
busy.
expo ain't bringing people in. That's scary.
Yeah, it is scary. But this show did not have that whatsoever. It was a very active show. They sold like 45,000 tickets. Wow. It was a very busy show. That show alone generated $19.1 million for the Houston economy.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
so
awesome.
It was a very, I would say, success for Houston.
Yeah.
And for the people who were there in Artist Alley as well.
For sure.
Good deal. A good deal. I'm glad. Couldn't have happened to a nicer guy. Saw several of my friends showing up on Lauren's feed on Nights of G. Saw Mike on there. Saw Wiley on there. Looking forward to seeing all the rest of her videos from the show. Wishing I'd gone now. Man, Houston ain't that far. I could have drove it.
Yeah, we went through your state. So
you should have stopped by and said, hey. I'm just saying. I would have stopped by and said, hey to you. You know, but, I guess I'm a better friend than Ryan.
I never touched the wheel, so I'll just say no contest to that.
Oh man. I bet y'all had a good time.
It was great.
I'm not jealous. I'm not jealous. Ben's jealous. I'm not jealous.
It was cool. I mean,
I'm jealous at the idea that you got such a you were at such a successful show, because most of the shows I go to, the crowds are sparser, and the interest in comics is lighter relative to the interest in
movie stars and
Punk Paco.
Yeah, it is.
Funko Pops.
I agree, Ben. I agree. It is a little disheartening that like cons have become so celebrity focused now. And, like DreamCon doesn't have that element. You know, there is some celebrities there, but like it's sparse and in between. Like they had Power Rangers there, they had Phil Lamar there. You know, Cree Summer, Issa Rae, but like. It wasn't like the focus of the show. You know, like sometimes these shows make it.
They lead with it like the headline.
Yeah.
That's true.
Man, I'd love like Phil Lamar, Cree Summer. Like those are some people that I would actually want to meet. So many times there's so many celebrities that I'm like, that's cool. You're here. I don't really care. I mean, you know, like I don't need like Sean Astin's signature or anything. Like, cool, he's there. Now, when I met the dude that played Data from the Goonies, It took everything in me not to cry.
You
when I
met
gave him-
Keelan. That's
Yeah.
cool.
When I gave him my comic and thanked him for my career, because he's 100% the reason that I draw comics today. I gave him that book and told him that, and I didn't cry. My lip was quivering, and like I was right there on the edge. I didn't cry till I left, but man,
a little quiverage.
It was a big deal for me to get to meet him. There's a handful of people that I would really like to meet, but Phil Lamar.
Yeah, it's the same for me. I can count them on one hand, but that's about it. Like, but it does suck that cons are that going towards that kind of.
And they bring in the people, but then those people aren't interested in like the stuff that we're selling.
Yeah, everything else. It's not. It's about the celebrities, not about how Comic Cons or what cons are. But the key word is it's called a Comic Con. Like,
exactly.
That's the key word.
Comic
we're making comics. We're creating new ideas, new stories, just not from the big two. Like we have been here. It has a beautiful story that is like based in actual real world events, which is incredible. Which
with
we don't see often from the big two anymore. Like they're in fantasy.
Yeah, they're not going to touch on that stuff anymore because that's too touchy.
When it's it's real history. Genetic manipulation with Nazis was a huge thing, because the Aryan race of all things.
Yeah, that's like oh geez, like I used to be classified as having Asperger's, but not anymore because we don't use that word anymore because of the Nazis. So it's a thing. Anyway, okay, that's all been really interesting. Also, while we're talking about Kickstarters and stuff, let me see if I can embiggen this for a split second here. We also got the pre-launch page up for the Roll for Hero handbook and mini comic. The handbook, it is not a game, but it is all the tables and stuff you need for rolling up interesting superheroes, supervillains, characters somewhere in between. It's a fun imagination engine. It sparks your creativity. If you're bored, if you've got a little bit of artist block, if you're a writer and are looking to come up with some weird new villains that you can beat up this week and have your hero show off how tough they are, it's a really fun way to just roll up some random characters and see what you get. And it's been a lot of fun on the show. We do it every Wednesday before this show on my YouTube channel, and we roll up interesting characters each week. Such interesting characters that we're kicking ourselves that we can't make books about all of them. So along with this handbook that you're going to be getting in this, we're also going to be doing a mini comic, and we're going to make the mini comic together. So everybody that backs from the $5 digital tier on up will get links to like 3 unlisted live streams every week that you can come hang out on for just the backers of the campaign. We're going to roll up new characters. We're going to create the heroes and villains and the backstories. We're going to create the world that they live in. We're going to create a story together. We're going to lay out the pages and draw it and letter it and ink it and have it all ready to go. We're even going to go so far as to print it, staple it, fold it, cut it, show you 100% how you could be making your own Ashcan comics at home if you want to. So if you're wanting that push to actually get started making your comic, this is going to be a fun way to get to hang out and learn a little bit, ask questions along the way. If you've got a youngster in your life that's creative and precocious and artistic and you think might enjoy it, this would be a really fun place to hang out and learn some stuff. I'm going to be keeping it as kid-friendly as we possibly can and reminding people that there are young people hanging out too that want to learn and do this someday. So, we got to keep it clean in the comments. But it's going to be a lot of fun. You should come hang out, give it a follow, go mrfish.com. We'll take you to the pre-launch page, give it a follow. It's going to be cool. It's going to be cool. So, all right, I got my pitch out of the way. we can go back to talking schmotzies and all that stuff. Um, but I want to pick your brain for a second, Ben. Uh, you've been at this for a while, right? How many years have you been doing indie comics now? Did you say
6 years? I think since I put out my first issue of Shark of War back in 2020, right as COVID shut everything down. So yeah, a little over 6 years.
All right, good deal. Um, what's some things like what would be your number one piece of advice that you would offer to some young whippersnapper up and comer that wants to make a comic? Like what would be one of your number one bits of advice to them?
Well, the thing I say a lot of times people are like on talking about wanting to make a comic, and the thing I always think is if you want to make a comic, the first thing to do is make a comic book. I mean, you don't need a lot of cash to make a 10-page, ash can PDF. You can even you can even draw it yourself. You can do the initial lettering yourself. That's basically what I did for Shark of War. And it wasn't so much that I couldn't afford to hire an artist. I wasn't part of the community. I had no idea where to find such things. Mm-hmm. But as you start to do it, you gain that background. So now I'm embedded in different Facebook groups and artist communities. So if I need an artist, I know where to find one. I know roughly what I should pay, and roughly what the cost is, and what the cost of printing a book is. But you can, if you want to make a comic book, the first thing to do is make a digital comic book. Mm-hmm. Almost anybody can do that. Mm-hmm. It may not be very good, and the first one probably won't be that good.
And that's okay. All of our first books suck a little bit. That's fine. Yeah. You're going to learn. You're going to grow. You're going to get better.
How are you supposed to learn? It's your first one.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the same thing I tell everybody. There is no better teacher than actually doing it. Like I have made my money as an artist since I started drawing people's D&D characters on the bus in junior high. And it has always been the way I made my living. And my artwork jumped exponentially 7 years ago when I started doing comics full time.
Wow.
And there's just so big a difference between drawing a logo a day or drawing 2 or 3 cool images for the sign shop or the t-shirt shop per day, and drawing panel after panel, page after page, hand over hand, so many faces, so many feet, so many dudes in suits and ties. I never thought I would draw that many suits in my life.
I will recommend that if you write a script before you start drawing. But that's always my
structure. Maybe. Yeah.
But if you want to just start drawing, you have to go knock yourself out. But you'll have a better process if you think about the process, and
it'll come out as a better story.
A little outline, a
script, story through first.
Yeah.
I was bad in the beginning about just starting and just like, okay, here we are. Put them on the page. Let's get going. We'll figure it out from here. And my hard part is, besides annoying dogs, my hard part is I have so much of the world imagined out, and I know where I'll go in all the directions. And I have 20 years lore for this world, trying to figure out where is the point that I'm going to start. And, where is going to be the climax and where are we going to end when I know how big everything is and how far it goes. That's the part that I have trouble with. How much do I edit down and how much do I show in this little window that I get in this comic book to show of this bigger world and everything that I dreamed about? And, I always have to leave out just acres and acres of stuff that I dreamed up. But if I'm going to make you care about this one character, I need to focus on this one character and give you time to care about them and give you stakes that make you want to care about this character and, worry that he might lose or whatever. And, I can't be showing you how the train system works and how, the coins were developed back in the day. Like I can't show you everything, but it's hard. That's hard for me to edit down. But I agree. I've had to learn. You got to write the story down. You got to figure out a beginning, middle, and end. You got to figure out like what's driving the story, what's your character trying to accomplish, or else you just end up with a bunch of stuff happening, and that's not that interesting. You know, it. I bought a lot of '90s books with a lot of cool images that had a lot of stuff happening, but now I want an entertaining story.
Right.
Oh man! All right, so that got our advice out of the way. Trying to think some of the things that I really enjoy talking about. What is a lesson that you learned from somebody else, like a nugget that somebody taught you? Because I'm really big on sharing information. Like that's really important to me and helping other people out. So like what's something that you got from someone else?
Well, I think the marketing side I've gotten almost totally from other people. The idea of building a mailing list and getting people on the mailing list and asking people to sign up for the mailing list, all these marketing necessities. You know, that if you want to do your own comic book, you have to take care of if you're going to fund on Kickstarter, because there was probably a time when you could go on Kickstarter and put your project up there, and you didn't have to bring your own audience. There would be people who were involved enough that they would back you. But I think that time is long gone now, that there are a few hundred comic book projects a month popping up on Kickstarter. So you have to have your own mailing list, your own audience, and you have to have your own newsletter. And so that's some of the things you have, you just part of the effort of doing. I don't really like doing it, but the people who taught me, like Tyler James and stuff like that, how to do this. You got to do it. You got to have a mailing list. You got to market to them. You got to email them. You got to try and have content beyond just your comic book to keep them in.
I noticed you've got reviews on here, which stood out to me because like that's something I hear Tyler James talk about a lot, is like having that proof that other people have read it and enjoyed it, and be like, oh, well, if they liked it, then it's not just something this dude thought up and thinks is cool. Like other people actually read it and enjoyed it.
Right.
Yeah, that's one of the things that's harder and harder to do now, though, because there's so few. There used to be, in 2020, there were at least a few comic review sites that would do something for indie comics. Now there's like, I don't know if any of the ones that I've used before hardly are around anymore, or doing any reviews. If they are of indies, they want to do, obviously they want hits too, and they want that, viewers too. So they're reviewing, Marvel books and DC books,
they want to get the eyes on the page.
Yeah, they got the same interests as we are. So it's very hard to get a review for your indie book, and it's always hard. Now it's harder. So it's one of those things that's just something that you have to work on now to more than you used to.
Yeah, it's tough. And like speaking of marketing, something that I had to learn from my buddy Lauren, goes by Nights of G on like Instagram and TikTok. She's does marketing and stuff all day long, and she talks to me a lot about you really need to learn who your ideal reader is and fall in love with them and learn everything about them and what do they like and what do they enjoy and where do they hang out, and so that where and how to target them best and get it in front of them so that they'll know that your book is out there and buy it. Because just because like I make Alice Lost in Wonderland and I like reading Marvel and DC books, I can't necessarily just advertise to people that like Marvel and DC, because they don't necessarily want to buy indie comics. Right. A lot of them just want to buy Spider-Man or just want to buy Superman or just want to buy, absolute Batman, and they don't give a flip about anything else. And, if it's not a character their grandpa knows, they don't want to read it. Right. And that's fine. We're not exactly the same. I'm going to lean towards the indie comics long before I'm going to go pick up absolute Batman. But that's me. you got to find, what they like and target to them. And that's been a tough lesson for me to learn, because I thought just putting comic books in as a target for my ads, or just putting like Marvel and DC was going to help. I'm not really helping. I'm fishing in the wrong pond. Like,
Mhm.
my fish might show up there, but that's not where we're targeting.
Right.
And so that was a big lesson for me.
Yeah, I
um,
think it's important now more than ever. A lot of people are going to books, like, whether it's comic books or anything, just that medium of having something in their hands to really flip through. So it is a very good positive. So I guess figuring out the right pond and the right pool, those who are
Yeah,
interested and want to be there, it's figuring that out.
yeah, and that example was proven last weekend, seeing
Mhm.
a lot of indie books move in people's hands, being picked up.
Yeah.
It was very, very nice to see. Just seeing people walk around having indie creators' books in their hands.
Yeah, it was
yeah,
very good positive. It's encouraging because, just as much as like it's just encouraging to see, indie creators and everything get
They're flowers.
their credit. Yeah, like getting their credit and just being able to get the proper exposure that they certainly are due when it comes to certain work and talent that inspires at this time. So it's been really encouraging to see that.
yeah, it's always good. And I think we're getting more and more people willing to take a chance on stuff, because
Mhm.
more of them are seeing things come to popular culture, like The Walking Dead and Invincible and stuff, and
Mhm.
100%.
hearing from a friend of a friend on a
Yeah.
YouTube
Yeah.
video that
Yeah.
they came from an indie comic. And
Mhm.
so they're starting to be more exposed. Like, when
Right.
I saw that black and white comic on the newsstand when I was a kid, and it's got these weird turtles with these ninja weapons, like, it blew my mind, and it was weird, and it was black and white, and but it just sparked my imagination, and I dug it. And it was
Mhm.
different. It wasn't the same thing that everybody else was doing at Marvel and DC. And
Mhm.
I fell in love with it. And my ship has been sunk ever since. I didn't really stay a chance after that.
Yeah.
Um,
Speaking of ships and sinking and things that's in the ocean, back to sharks because I do have a question for this, Ben, because I am curious about this. I had to segue it that way, but so for sharks, isn't it like if human blood? I know they can smell blood from miles away. So would human blood attract a shark closer or repel it? Because they don't think humans are tasty.
They,
I thought,
they they don't they I don't think they can tell human blood versus non-human
oh,
blood.
they
They
can't
they
tell the
sense they
difference.
sense blood, and
Okay.
they don't have a DNA test built
Well,
in to
I didn't know if it was
tell
just like
the
the scent, like if you can smell
species.
it.
So
Okay.
it's the smell of blood will attract them. Yeah,
Oh,
they will go toward it. So yeah, if you're bleeding or cut, that's another thing. Get out of the water, or don't get in the water in the
immediately.
first place. So yeah, that's another piece of advice from my little guide for you.
That's good to know. Well, I mean, I was doing that for another segue. So, haha, you have fallen into my trap. I said we are currently in a national blood shortage.
Uh-huh.
So, for those who are able and eligible to give blood, definitely do. You can save up to 3 lives with a whole blood donation. But of course, things like that. I was so curious to know if it was like a shark was like, okay, do they like if you could smell from miles away? I thought they would be able to know who was bleeding, but you just said they smell blood and they're like, "Ooh, that's possibility for
Yeah,
food." So that's
yeah,
good to know.
that's kind of how it works with them. They have some senses, but I mean I don't think a blood from you'd have to be pretty sophisticated to tell the blood from one animal from the other, and I'm not
What
sure
if a
they do
bougie shark was like,
that
hmm, can, I
like
think
somebody that's like, it's not really champagne unless it comes from the Champagne region.
I,
Like, it's not really blood unless it comes from a fish. Otherwise, it's just red blood cells. Um, yeah, very, very bougie.
thanks for answering that.
No problem.
No, I'm strictly a pescatarian. I never touch. Too fatty, too fatty. Oh my god! I went on a deep dive today accidentally about why we don't eat predators, and it was it was kind of mind blowing and eye opening. Um, I It was very interesting. It was very interesting. I did not realize I did not realize a lot of predators can make you very sick. Oh, goodbye, Ryan. I apologize. Ryan had to get going. He's got some stuff going on that he needed to take care of. So Ryan is out. But he did apologize in the private chat that he couldn't hang around longer. But yeah, I got to say, just talking about giving flowers and whatnot earlier, I just want everybody to know how much I appreciate Ben, because it goes unnoticed by a lot of people, but he works really hard, I think, keeping this spreadsheet active and going for a lot of us that are in indie comics. He keeps a spreadsheet going of all the active and upcoming campaigns that are going, and it's so well organized with like links and who's posting what and when the campaign's going live and when it's ending. And that thing has been such a great resource for me. Like, it's nice to be able to put my book on there and other people can know to go look for it, but it's been such a great resource for me personally. When I need to make an update, I can go look and see whose campaign is ending soonest and check out, who might need help in the last 12 hours more than, somebody that's got 4 days to go. Or maybe the person who's ending in 12 hours is 3 times past their goal, and the guy that got 4 days is still halfway to his goal, and maybe he needs having links to be able to find that easily. I have appreciated that spreadsheet so much. I don't like spreadsheets. It is not my native tongue. I don't speak Office fluently. It makes me uncomfortable, but that thing has been such a resource to me. And it's been such a symbol to me of how well we can all work together when we give it a shot and somebody's willing to put in the work to do something that often goes uncredited and unthanked. And I just want to take a minute publicly in front of our triple seater guests here that I appreciate you, Ben. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah, a lot of it I have to credit to the other people, because it's very much a crowdsourced spreadsheet. A lot of the tabs with PDFs to share, with resources. I think there's a podcast. I don't know if your thing is listed there. I assume it probably is. Let's see.
It's probably not, and it needs to be.
Podcast list here. Finish line. I don't see your name here, so I don't know if you're listed or
probably not. I don't think I thought
there's a tab there's a tab for example for podcasts, so people can find podcasts. But yeah, the main purpose was so we could share each other out in updates, because there was no easy way to track that. My one regret is that more of the campaigns aren't winding up there. This time I was sharing it in another group that I'm in for the month in the Comics Launch Pro group, and a bunch of those people put their name in it. So this month we actually have 10 or more campaigns listed, which is really nice.
Yeah,
that gives you a lot of.
There's so many campaigns from our friends that have put their books in here before and just forget to. And I will freely admit, I check this thing all the time to put people in updates, and then we'll forget to put my book in.
Yeah, I keep reminding people every week. I try to put a reminder in a couple of the groups that we're both in. To tell people, and some of those people see the reminder and they still don't do it. I'm like, come on, people.
So many times I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, I need to do that. I'm going to make a mental note, and I won't forget when I go down this rabbit trail to do something else, and then I forget.
Yeah, but, Google Calendar is like my best friend when it comes to putting in reminders, even when I see something on a spreadsheet like that. Just because I'm just like, I need 5 solid reminders before the actual time of it. It's like, I'm always it's like an hour before, 2 hours before, 5 hours, the evening before, just
Tony
in case.
Got so mad at me for that when we were sharing a calendar for 5-star. He's like, dude, why you got so many reminders? I was like, because I need them. Because
it's like the time the reminders go off, I'm not somewhere where I can actually look over it or review it. So I need another reminder just in case when I'm actually in front of my desk or when I'm able to actually look over it. And it makes
I need a reminder in the morning so I can prepare and get ready and do the things I need to do to be ready, like say shave my head and stuff that I'm going to do earlier in the day. I need a reminder at noon because I've already forgotten that we're doing the show, and I need a reminder when I'm eating lunch. But hey, after this, you need to start getting ready. I need a reminder an hour before. I need a reminder when I'm supposed to get backstage, because between that hour and that 20 minutes ahead,
it goes so quick.
I will forget.
It goes so quickly because literally, even just like when like leaving work and getting here, it's like I'm not far from work, but of course, the time it takes to get my laptop up, it wakes up like a groggy old man. It's like you shake, it's like,
I'm up,
then it gets up.
I'm up.
And then and then I'm like, well, come on, get up. And then it's like, and it's like, then I'm like, I gotta log in. It's like, okay. It's like, and then finally, it's like, and by 10 minutes have went by. And I'm just
That's why I'm obsessively early, because there's so many times I have to reboot my computer, reboot my phone that I use as a webcam to get everything working together again. And you just never know, especially if I'm going on somebody else's podcast. There's always some little glitch or something that isn't working quite right, or their system is like, you don't have any webcams. I can't see them. I'm like, I have a bunch. No, I'm pretty sure you don't have any webcams.
I don't think there's a webcam in the room with us. Are you sure? And it's like, are you going to allow it? Like, you have to allow it first. It's like, I allowed it. It's on. Please allow it. Are you sure, Nana? You have to allow the mic. Do you want to allow the mic too? It's like, yes.
Why would I not want to allow the speakers? So, it's not going to work. We can't hear anything. Sorry. I don't know why you couldn't figure this out.
So I mean, it is a climb. It is a process to go through the fun stages of getting here. But I mean, hey, it's always worth it. We get there. We get to the finish line. We get where we want to be at the end of the day. So that's always a plus.
And then we get awesome books out, like 3 issues of Samson.
Yeah, it works out. I know. It's like, it turns out so great, and the art is great. Look at that. That's awesome.
Well, thank you. Yeah, we've got 3 covers, and we always do. This one is actually a kind of a John Buscema tribute cover. He passed away not long ago, but that wasn't the reason I wanted to do it. It's because I really like some of his artwork, the very kinetic style of the action. And this, of course, is kind of the era I grew up in, that 70s and 80s era, where you really can see the almost the impact of stuff blowing apart or getting hit. So that was that first cover, was to try to be inspired by that kind of punching action. And then the second cover was inspired by the old World War II comic books, Sergeant Rock, Nick Fury, Howling Commandos before Shield. I found out when I set this up that Nick Fury actually was in way more comics as a World War II soldier than he ever was he ever starred in as an agent of Shield. They made far more comics of the Howling Commandos than they made of Nick Fury, agent of Shield. So this is kind of
wild to me that he had such a long arc as a character, and changed so much. Like, like, who was the one character that went from being like a romance girl to like Hellcat or whatever?
Yeah, Patty. I can't remember her last name, but yeah, she kind of like she was.
That's
in
another
the
interesting.
And then the Avengers. There was an Avengers issue that brought her back, where it turned out her husband, who she's having a romance with in the teen comics, turns out to be this bad guy and abusive toward her.
He was a Skrull the whole time.
He takes on the Hellcat mantle to.
That is crazy.
And then the other one, we've been doing a lot of Superman homage covers, and this one's kind of these. I don't know if you remember the Silver Age Superman covers, where it seems like Superman's done something horrible.
Oh yeah,
and of course he hasn't, but it looks like on the cover he has.
Like, so he's kind of like giving it,
So yeah, that one there on the left, where he's got the twin brother that he's kept in chains for all these years. I actually owned that comic book as a child, and I read the comic book, and they didn't reveal what what the trick was, the why Superman hadn't done it, and it was years before I found out the truth, what actually happened.
Oh my gosh!
But so that kind of inspired this cover where Samson's being accused of being a traitor.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty cool. I like that setup.
I've done a lot of homage covers. I love the fact that these are homage to the spirit of the covers and not necessarily a one for one mimic of the covers. That's a really deep, interesting take to me on it, because you don't. I've never been asked to do that.
I've
have
done
been
those
asked.
covers too, so I'm not. We're not above doing very close covers.
Oh yeah.
If you go into the back issue add-ons and stuff, you'll see an Alex Ross inspired Samson cover that's very photorealistic, like one of his covers. An Action Comics with first appearance of Supergirl that's very similar to one of his covers. That cover, but yeah, this one I was kind of going for the feel and style for these different covers so much as a one for one homage.
Yeah, I really like that. That's interesting.
I'm pretty curious because, like you said, how you grew up like that watching the Silver Age. When it came to the story, and you said you took years like to find the truth. When you make your stories, when you deliver this to your audience, do you want them to have that similar experience, or do you kind of give them a little bit more of a truth, but a closer?
Well, don't make me too old. The Silver Age kind of wrapped up when I was
So back when the printing press was invented.
Okay.
I was very young, and we kind of moved into the Bronze Age for most of my comic book reading years. But I got the Silver Age issues. I saw them on back issue, or they were.
Oh yeah, when you could get them for like half the cover.
Yeah, or they were very cheap. So yeah, but yeah, it took me a long time to get to the point where I'm trying to put out my own comic books and things like that. And I hope the audience doesn't take 60 years to follow my books, because I don't think I'll live that much longer. But
that's another thing that like Tony always points out about indie comics. Like if you want to go back and find out everything about Spider-Man's battles with the Jackal, let's say, you're going back and buying dozens and dozens and dozens of back issues to catch up. If you want to find out everything that's happened between here and there, you're buying hundreds of books to catch up with what happened. And that's one of the beautiful things about indie characters, is most of the time you don't have to go past 10 books on any of these series to know everything that's happened. Like you can pick up all 3 issues right now of Samson and know everything that's happened so far in the story and be caught up on it and know everything. And yeah, I'm sure you've set up like nuggets that are going to get paid off down the road and whatnot.
There's a bonus feature in the back of issue 2, and it will be in issue 3, where basically the story covers like more than 50 years, because it starts in World War II as a child, and it's going on to after the end of the Cold War, and probably will eventually catch up to the present. And so to help fill that in the bonus feature in issue 2 and issue 3, I've written prose article, basically like a news story, telling you more about details about his life and what happened to him and his daughter and his family, and how how, because I could filling in 50 years of history with a comic book, it would take me 50 issues or more, at least, to do that justice. Whereas with prose story, I can fill in a lot of that background, that's kind of like in between panels of the comic book. And so they can give you that extra detail. So for people who really, need to read that, but if you really want to know the full story of the character, his, more detail about him, that's a bonus feature for anyone there.
That's the fun stuff. Like After meeting Lori Calcaterra, we started tossing ideas around because she does such interesting things to engage with her fans and puts puzzles and things in there to solve. And if you solve this puzzle, you can call a phone line and hear a recorded message from one of the characters.
Oh, wow.
And if you solve this puzzle, then you get a letter in the mail from one of the characters and all kinds of really cool, fun stuff.
Yeah, I know she's got her own hot stuff like that.
She's a creative genius. I love her. And
yeah, she really. I'm really impressed with her average backer pledge for backer.
I just love her entire.
I wish I could
folklore,
get anywhere close to that.
I call it her folklore now. It's just like that's the lore of her.
Yeah, she does such a good job of keeping her fans engaged and excited and waiting for the next thing. And so like I started adding in like QR codes hidden in the book. And I realized the more I played with it, like you can skew them into perspective because that's what the 3 boxes in the corner are for, is to tell your camera what angle it's at when your camera's not straight.
Yeah.
And you can blend it into the colors just as long as the camera can pick up the contrast. You can really hide them well enough that they're hard to find. And so I hide secret messages in there and they will take you to like unlisted YouTube videos where you can hear like recorded messages from Alice's adopted dad, the White Rabbit, that he leaves for her and stuff. And sometimes he's having to go back in time and leave them because he feels bad about what happened. So he comes back later and leaves it. And then they kind of make a story in their own together, and you get little glimpses of what's going to happen in the next issue and stuff if you're paying attention. If not, you can totally enjoy the book. And but it's fun putting in these extra little things and spicing it up, and it gives me a chance, like you were saying, to put in extra lore and extra bits of world building that I can do quickly, like recording a voice message and throwing some sound effects on it. And now you have this cool message from Alice's dad. Whereas, that would take me a week or 2 or 3 to make a short comic out of that. It's
right.
much quicker to get much more lore out there fast.
Right.
Oh, man. All right. Well, we are at the hour mark. One more time, tell people where they can follow you on social media. I just shared the link in the comments again, and the link should be in the description on the video. But where can they follow you on social media? And one more pitch on the book.
I am at bitingcomics.com. If you go there and get my email, sign up for my email list, I'm going to send you 4 free comic books plus my Shark of War guide for how to avoid a shark attack and what to do if a shark does attack you. On social media, I'm blacy1 on Twitter. I am on facebook.com /Shark of War. And of course, like I said, I'm at bitingcomics.com. And my Kickstarter here is, thankfully you put the link up for it, is going on for one more day. It ends sometime, I think, tomorrow evening. You can read issue 1 free there. You don't even have to sign up for my email to read issue 1 free. You just click on the link and it'll pop up in your Google Doc. You can download it, you can read it. You can email it to your friends. I don't care. In fact,
worst case, more people like your book. Oh no!
Email it to your enemies too.
Go ahead and click that link and send it to all your friends, so they'll come back to the book now.
But yeah, it's available. I hope you check it out and read it. And if you like it, at least a little, you might consider backing the digital versions. It's only all 3 issues digitally. I think it's a $9 pledge level. And if you want all my comic books digitally, I think it averages out to $1.50 a comic book, which I think is
that's
pretty good deal, even for for Marvel or DC. And if you want to buy all my comics physically, I have a tier there where you basically get all the other comic books at Comic-Con prices. So the same price you pay me at Comic-Con is what you get charged, plus you get them shipped to you and you get the digital copies too.
That's a good deal. That's a good deal, man. Y'all need to go check it out right now on Kickstarter, Samson. Fee, where can they find you on social media?
You can find me everywhere under Feeling Soleil. So definitely check out and see what else is going on and latest updates there. That's where you can find me.
And of course, I am Mr. Fish Comics on all the social medias, or Fish Lee also on Facebook. And GoMrFish.com will take you right to the Roll for Hero handbook page, which is for the handbook to go along with our Roll for Hero show, where we can roll up random characters. It is not a game in and of itself, but it is a great way to make up new OCs. It is a great way to spice up your writing with some interesting new characters. It's a great way to come up with new characters if you're bored or you have artist block. It's a great tool for kids, creative kids, to help come up with ideas. We go through how to make things that don't necessarily feel like they would work together, and how we come up with some of the crazy ideas that we come up with. Everything you need in here. We also have a tier that will come with the 6-sided dice, but you can use 6-sided dice from any old game you have. And we're going to be making a comic together. We're going to be making our own original mini comic. You can hang out for as little as $5. You can hang out on the live streams. You can shout out names, help us come up with where the story's going to go, who the bad guys are going to be, what their backstory is going to be. Come hang out, have a good time, watch us make a comic together. You can hold it up, show it to your friends, and say, hey, I'm the reason that guy has a foot for a head, because I yelled that out in the comments. You never know. So come hang out, check it out, GoMrFish.com. And as always, be a 5-star version of yourself, and all the other things that Tony says that I don't pay attention to because I'm listening for my cue to hit the outro. So thank y'all very much, and we'll see you next week.